Well, I'll tell you what, this one, as a matter of fact, Brian, I think when you talk to Jay Sharknado and Kippelman and all the trolls under the bridge over there at Arcadian Vanguard, when this goes up on YouTube, it ought to be labeled the review that Jim Cornette dares you to hear. I dare the people to listen to this review I'm about to give, because all those people out there say Cornette hates anybody that's not young, that's not a 20-year veteran. He likes all the old guys. He don't like any of the kids. The kids don't live up to his standards. I have new favorite wrestlers. Guess who they are?
I can't wait to hear this.
The Ass Boys. The Gun Club, Austin and Colton. I love these guys. FTR versus the Ass Boys was the highlight of this television program for me.
The Gun Club, I believe, is their official name.
Well, I'm telling you, they got tons of heat and marketing opportunities as the Ass Boys. And then as long as we're not in England, they won't be the Rent Boys. But this match, it was two heel teams, but I had hope for it. And of course, now they're switching FTR. MJF came out for color, so we've got something to listen to and something to look at. And did you see the sign from the guy in the front row? I swear to God, he held it up proudly numerous times. It said, TSB is dynamite. But anyway, so the Guns have tons of personality. They're in great shape. They seem to be serious about their work. They didn't go out there and just because they're not experienced doesn't mean they have to work like indie outlaw goofs. Those two things are not mandatory. Just because you're green doesn't mean you have to work like an indie goof. They were serious about their business. Obviously, their father has been in their ear, but they got, again, the personality, the look, and Austin, especially the way he bumps and reacts and sells and their facials. This whole, and of course, FTR are great leaders for, greener guys. Tony and JR and MJF gave all kinds of love to the Midnight Express on this one. But, anyway, it was a great tag team match for what it needed to be. And it helped the Guns, and it got FTR over. I would have loved to have had the Gun Boys in OVW, because they're the kind of guys that you can teach and train and coach, and they've already got the concept. And you can see them when when you deal with them regularly. Those are the kind of guys you can see getting better all the time. Anyway, Colton has a great drop kick. He's aggressive. They did a deal where Colton missed a splash and went over the top rope, into the corner rather, and went over the top rope, but Austin tagged it, back tag, but it was slick. And Austin jumped in and set up a hot tag. They did the hot tag. They haven't been wrestling for a fucking year, and they're doing hot tags. Better than every tag team on the roster, or setting them up at least. And Dax made a nice comeback. MJF mentioned that Ref Aubrey looks like a human foot. And that's fantastic. And then I thought I was going to be pissed about this, but they're obviously going into the finish because they're picking up the pace. And then suddenly the cameras are suddenly out in the breezeway of the arena. Why? A camera's out there suddenly. Why? Because it's Wardlow. He's broken into the building and he's destroying security, even that MJF placed for him not to get in there. And he comes into the arena, and I was like, fuck, couldn't they have just had this in the middle of a job match? But, it added to the chaos, actually. And he comes in and beats up more security, so they listened. He wasn't just immobilized like a goof. He's throwing people around. He's whacking people. He makes it into the arena, and then there's 15 people around him. And he's just sandwiched in, and they're slowly, moving him by force of people out of the thing while MJF is gloating and whatever the fuck. That was great. Then we come back to the match. And the Guns have a double knockout, and Dax rolls one up, but Billy's up on the apron. And a distraction, boom, boom, boom. And FTR did a teamwork thing out of that and hit their big rig, 1, 2, 3. Great match, great deal. You know, everybody came out better. It was serious. It looked good. And then MJF comes to the ring, and FTR are hot at MJF for what he's done to Wardlow. So now the people are chanting for him. But MJF raises their hands even though they're not happy. And obviously within what's happening on Friday and et cetera, now FTR, at least they're not in a goddamn miscellaneous group anymore. And bless his heart, I loved his, glory days, but at least they don't have Tully in the corner anymore, which, at some point, everybody needs to quit. And I'm not sure Tully's time has not arrived. Did you see him on Ring of Honor?
Oh, yeah, and I even saw the pre-show. I don't know how much of the pre-show you saw.
I actually got that. Well, as the old Steve Allen joke goes, I saw it. I'm not sure I got it. Anyway, so that was that whole piece of business. And that's why, nobody will believe it. But yes, I like some of the young guys when they're serious about their business and show ability and potential and effort. So I'm liking me some Gun Club. I dare you. I dare you to fucking mock me for it. I'm an Ass Boy fan.
I'm not going to mock you for liking them because I think they have something too, and they're just natural. You want to hit them. You wanted to hit them when they were at ringside. Yeah. Now you really want to hit them. I think they're really good. I like them there. I think FTR show they can work as baby faces. They can work as heels. They can do both style matches perfectly. They are such a good tag team, and they've had a nice little run on TV. The Dax CM Punk match. Losing Tully's a big deal. Beyond the fact that Tully's not 1980s Tully Blanchard anymore, FTR having an old man as a manager did not help them.
It didn't. There was the I can see where the thought was because they are so often compared to Tully and Arn, Dax and Cash, and Carolina Boys and et cetera. And if this was 20 years ago, it might be better, but it's just not now, like you said.
Other than that, I really enjoyed it, and this continues, again, a nice pace. Not everything's perfect or what I want on the entire show, but for this first hour of the show, I got serious wrestling matches. I get a serious tag team match. One of the reasons you probably like the Gun Club is they're wrestling like a tag team. They're trying to wrestle a tag team match. They're not doing a routine. They're not out there doing the same routine that so many other tag teams did for a while. It seems that AEW is finally starting to get some tag teams in the mix that can just work a match and try to get a crowd reaction from working the match.